Hello, Goddess. Welcome back. This is Andrea with you, our mind, body, soul. And in this temple space, I guide your inner goddess to bridge the mind, body, and soul through psychosomatic education, consciousness reconditioning, as well as alchemy and energetics. Welcome back, beautiful. Come on in. Feels so good to be back here to talk to you today about elevating your vibration. It is like such a tagline: high vibes this, high vibes that. Let's really talk about it. Let's talk about why we want to have high vibes and what all of that actually means. I've got my water here. Hopefully you have something nice to drink. And before I get too deeply into this topic, I want to remind you to please like this video. Thank you so much for your likes. They are so valuable and important to me. It really helps to keep me motivated and inspired to create this free content for you. Thank you so much for sharing this video so that other goddesses such as yourself can receive this divine information that I am channeling through me. And thank you so much for your subscribes, for your new subscribes. Thank you to my OG subscribers. I appreciate you so much. And thank you to all of you that are about to hit that subscribe button right now. All right, so let's get into this topic here. High vibes. Okay, so, and of course, I have my notes here as always. All right. So the first thing we want to talk about is like, how do you know you actually need to elevate your vibration? Like, it sounds wonderful, it looks good on a t-shirt, but what is vibration? What are vibes, and how do we know that we need to elevate these vibes? So at a fundamental level, everything is vibrating. The fabric in this t-shirt, if you look at it, like, it all looks stagnant and solid, but if you look at it at a microscopic level, it's vibrating. Everything is vibrating, okay? At the most quantum level that we can't see, our thoughts vibrate, our emotions vibrate, and they move through this infinite field of energy until they are projected consistently enough that they actually solidify. So a vibration is a component of every living thing, every breathing thing, every physical, every tangible thing, as well as everything that we have yet to create. So vibration is the key to everything. Okay, and when we say that we want to elevate and increase our vibration, what we are actually talking about is our ability to affect change in our reality so that we are aligning and we are creating one that which we prefer. Rather than the one that we are showing up and living by default. So your vibration, you can fine tune your vibration specifically to whatever it is you want to fine tune it. So I had one client, one beautiful client, she would always say that I want to be the lender rather than the borrower. Like, that was her mantra. And so that was actually the vibration that she had. She was always loaning out people money. Which is wonderful in theory, up until a point. You can't give out money to people that are always going to waste and always going to squander it. And you especially can't do that expecting to get that money back. But these vibrations, the way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we think, they are all vibrating. Okay. And at a fundamental level, we have pranic energy that runs through us. Okay. So pranic energy is your life force energy. It is your breath energy. And in yogic philosophy, the pranic energy that we have in our ability to maintain this pranic energy, this life force creative energy that is vital to our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Okay, it is the source point for all of that. So in yogic philosophy, which I'm actually a certified yoga instructor, I did it so that I could really dive into the philosophy. Okay, you are developing your pranic energy through the things that you eat and the things that you consume. And nourishment, when it comes to a vibratory standpoint, comes from what you are watching. This video, for one, is a form of nourishment. What you are hearing, anything that you are receiving through your orifices. So you're watching it, you're listening to it, you're consuming it. And then you're also breathing it in. So that oxygen, okay? That's your pranic energy. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, just to get a little bit more deeply into some of these topics, okay? But some of the signs and symptoms that you really want to elevate your vibration is your focus. So you want to start by looking at your focus and what it is you are oriented on looking at on a day-to-day basis. So your focus is your perspective, and your focus is where your energy is going to go. And wherever your energy goes is where your energy is going to then grow. Okay, so you can either be past, present, or future oriented. Okay, focusing on the past has its uses under very limited circumstances. And those are in the situations when you are journaling and you're doing your shadow work and you're trying to figure out where did I maybe go wrong, or maybe where could I have made a better turn, or reflecting on what you learned from a situation or circumstance. That is the only situation in where the past is valuable if you are using it to study, learn about yourself, or evolve or grow. But a lot of people sit in the frame of perspective of their focus in the past, because they are repeating it in the form of these memories and in the form of the way in which we narrate our past experiences and past events. It's not valuable in that manner. Okay. So we want to release ourselves from that energetic focus, because that energy going into the past is not going to yield healthy pranic energy to fuel you into the future in which you would prefer. Okay. We can orient ourselves in the present where we are showing up and we're tuning in with the very moment that we're in, just being here in our breath and in our body. And activating your feminine energy frequency is so important for that, because feminine energy is present, it is aware, it is vital, it fills up a space. And so you can't really be fully presently aware if you're always in your headspace, because the headspace is always going to be either in the past or in the future. And the present is the controller over both of those realities. So you can shift your past and what happened to you in the past and heal that. And you can change your future and you can project positive energy into your future with the power of your ability to be present. This is a high level alchemical skill that we are always talking about and growing through in this temple space. Okay. And then you can be future oriented, which is nice, especially when you are trying to call into your future self to get you support and guidance in the present moment. And also when you feel inspired by the future self that you have imagined for yourself, thinking about the future in that way can be productive. However, thinking about the future in a negative way in which you are feeding fear into your conscious reality is going to create anxiety. Okay. And we don't want that. So we can take these different perspectives of our focus and we can channel in our life force energy into those perspectives to yield the outcomes in which we desire. And those are going to change our vibration. So if your vibration is low, chances are you're either going to be ruminating on the past and repeating that, and then reliving memories that you can't actually go back and physically change, how people treated you or what happened in the situation or how you felt at the time. All you can do is respond to it in this very moment. Okay. And so you can tell how your frequency is looking is how you are framing those things and how you are preparing yourself for your own future. Okay. And so we don't want to focus on what we don't want. We want to focus on what we do want and what we do prefer, because again, everything is energy. So if you can't create a mental habit, emotional habit, and process for yourself of being grateful for even the things that you have found challenging and try to find the lesson out of those and receiving the blessing, leaving the pain behind and just taking that medicine, it's going to be very hard to evolve and to shift your vibration, because our emotions are a feedback loop of our mental thought processes in response to how we are digesting our physical experiences. So if you're not able to be present with your current circumstances from an authentic, transparent way with yourself, an open way with yourself, it's going to be very hard to lift that vibration up. You know that you are on the right track to having a high and positive vibration, one that is going to yield and put you on a trajectory of a positive outcome in your life, when you are always feeling gratitude and you can find something to be grateful for. This is super key. So remember when I used to always just complain about my circumstances because my life has been hard. But the hardest part of life was when I didn't realize that complaining about it wasn't going to change anything, and feeling bad about the circumstance wasn't going to change anything. I always thought that out of nowhere my life would start to shift, and that one day I would step over this threshold where I evolved, and all of a sudden I was a happy person because of some kind of material outcome, whether it be, the income, or whether it be the relationship, or whether it be the body goal. Like, I always thought that, one day it's going to shift and then I'm going to automatically just be a happy person, until I really started to get with that present perspective and ask myself, how do I feel in my body? Am I happy? Am I content? Do I have joy? Am I vibrating with a pattern of joy in my body? Or is there just like this, or is there something that's just there that I feel is like robbing my joy? And usually those things are either cords of attachment, they are karmic emotional patterns that we have in our bodies, like habits that we have created. So all of our hormonal system, our neurochemical system are just these habitual patterns that we have created for ourselves. So when I realized that life wasn't just going to change from the external environment, and I had to face the actual truth that I really was responsible for my internal environment, and my external environment was a reflection for the level of responsibility that I had for myself, which at that time was not that great because I was victim up until that point. So I really started to have to do the growth, and I had to shift myself into that growth mindset of saying, okay, I know that it would be easy for me to look at my circumstances and not prefer it and not be happy about it, but I still have to find something to be grateful for. So I shifted my vibration. I started to make gratitude a habit. Especially in circumstances where I didn't have anything. And then life took everything away from me. And I found the most gratitude in just living the most simple form of life. And then this is when everything started to change, and I really started to level up, and I really started to digest some of those lessons from the past that were plaguing me. I just evolved myself out of that. And then I evolved different tools so that I could continue to level up, and that I could continue to expand my perspective. And all of that is inside of the Feminine Mystery Academy on yambs.co. Okay. So realizing whether it is you're complaining about something that you want versus being very grateful for what you have, even if it's not ideal, and knowing that this is the source, and that this is the path, this is the energetic source of what I'm going to attract and call into my future. Okay. So these circumstances that we find ourselves in, these karmic circumstances and these relationships that we wish were finished, that we somehow feel stuck in, sometimes instead of, rejecting it, you want to just accept the fact that you are here and that it has a purpose. Because if we're not fully processing and digesting the purposes of these challenging experiences, then we'll never be ready for more. Okay. And that is just the nature of this reality. Okay. Another way of knowing whether or not you need to shift your vibration is just a very material, physically based fact, is that if you're always getting sick. So if you're always getting sick, especially some kind of upper respiratory issue, or like headaches, that means that something is off with your vibration, and you need to see about doing a little bit more research and becoming a little bit more devoted to your health, because the signs and the symptoms that your body are giving you, whether it be a tremendous amount of stress, or whether it be something, or whether you're putting stress food inside of your body, these are signs and symptoms that are basically just letting you know that, hey, we need to elevate that vibration. So as a rule of thumb, anything that you eat, you should feel energized by. And anything that you're eating that drains your energy, that makes you feel heavy and makes you feel tired, you need to have a conversation about what your boundaries are going to be with that, as far as your energy that you are allowing that to have. Okay. We want to be eating light. We have light bodies. We are goddesses, and we are really working on mastering our life through our feminine energy, while still understanding that masculine energy has its value, and that we are divinely orchestrated beings. Every day that you wake up is a miracle, and it is a blessing. Every day that you get to show up for life is an opportunity for your evolution. And so therefore we are walking, living, breathing miracles. Okay. So I see sickness as something that is a low vibration that is moving through us. Um, so on a deeper, more occult perspective, you can only get sick if you are exposing yourself to the vibration that that sickness is in. Working in a hospital. Okay, working in a hospital, not having your immune system on point. Okay, and not being aware of your boundaries, washing your hands, not letting people breathe on you, like simple things put you inside of the atmosphere of a vibrational frequency that can be detrimental to yourself. Okay, so these are tangible, practical things. But then you can also catch illnesses and diseases spiritually and energetically. And this is what I have become aware of as I get deeper and deeper into my understanding of how this whole reality works. Okay, so for example, being in a victim mind state and being depressed, okay, which is a place that I used to live in frequently, when you get into a space of feeling sorry for yourself and you start to feel, well, woe is me, you actually tap into the field of consciousness where everyone else that feels like a victim, that feels sorry for themselves, is also in. And so now you are in this pool of psychic consciousness of this low vibration, and you are now aligned with that vibration because you are not a steward for protecting your emotional boundaries and you let something suck you dry. And so now you're depressed and now you're in the murky kind of dirty pool of people whose energies also feel like they are a victim and like they don't have the strength to deal with life. Now you put yourself into that frequency. You can think of it like tuning in the dial of a radio to different frequencies. So when you entertain victim mindset, when you entertain depression, when you entertain anxiety, and you don't do what is required to level yourself up out of these emotional habits, which you can watch any one of my videos to learn how to do that, or at least to get exposed to things that can help to guide you and shift you out of these processes. When you don't do that, you kind of get stuck inside of that field of consciousness of these other people. Okay, and that is the morphogenetic field. Okay, and you can do this, tap into these different fields on the opposite end of the spectrum. So you can really tap into the morphogenic field of people that are doing really well for themselves, which is why I love YouTube, because when you turn on a YouTube channel and you listen to someone, for example, there's this one girl that I really love listening to on YouTube, and I love to hear about how she got her booty gains. She's a personal trainer and she just has a great butt. I'm like totally into just the glute process right now, especially like, you know, having more time to train and create my fitness program because I don't have to teach pole full time. I get to like actually be a for real gym rat, which is nice. So I love tapping into her field of understanding and expertise because it really inspires me. I get that information and then I go and I take the action to make the shift about what she's talking about. So you can tap into these different fields, and that's like a whole huge topic that I really would love to dive into, the morphogenetic field, but we'll talk about that on a different day. Okay, so mentally you can catch these illnesses and you can catch these diseases. Spiritually, you can contract a spiritually transmitted disease as well. And a lot of times, you know, us as women and different parts of the female society have gotten caught up in this having multiple partners, having multiple intimate partners, right? And so when you're having multiple intimate partners, you are exchanging these energies with these different partners, especially if it's unprotected, right? So now you're having this exchange and you are exposing yourself to whatever type of low vibrational issues that they are working through, whether it be their demons, whether it be, you know, their low vibrational nutrition habits, whether it be, you know, whatever it is they are experiencing, their belief systems. Now you are opening yourself up and making yourself susceptible to whatever field it is that they are exposing themselves to. So that's why I always tell these women out here that are in these relationships with these boyfriends or whatever, that that shit is not real. Okay. The boyfriend girlfriend paradigm is outdated, outsourced. When you are in a relationship with a boyfriend, basically means that you are with somebody and y'all are just trying to figure out life together. You really don't have a clue. When you choose to step into an honored partnership, a life partnership with someone that you plan on marrying, and this is just my personal belief. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. That's cool. You know, I invite you to just be open to listening and hanging out. But this is my personal belief. When you're in a life partnership with somebody, now all of your energy counts and it's going into the same pool, which is fueling an aligned reality that you are creating. When you're fooling around with that boyfriend, girlfriend paradigm, you are really holding yourself susceptible to being limited to wherever that person is at that time, and you can end up losing a lot of time on your precious life. And this is just coming from my personal experience. Like, you can lose a lot of time being in a relationship where y'all don't know where you are going. And so that's why I discourage the boyfriend girlfriend paradigm, and also casual relationships. You can hold yourself, you can make yourself energetically vulnerable to whatever it is this person has going on, and then you're wondering why you have, you know, all of these emotional issues going on, why your moon cycle is off, why you keep coming with all of these health diseases, because now your sacred body is polluted because you didn't have the astral hygiene and the different things that are required for you to protect yourself. You are vulnerable and you are open and you are poking holes inside of your energy field when you are not moving through this world and interacting intimately and being responsible about it. Okay, period. Alrighty. So another way of knowing that you need to increase your vibration is when you're in a victim mind state versus feeling that you are a champion, and, you know, exercising the fact that we do need friction and we need a little bit of pressure in order to be able to grow. And so you can't be bruised or affected or hurt by everything. Like, you have to develop thicker skin. Like in pole dance, y'all know I'm always talking about pole dance. In pole, we literally develop thicker skin. So there are certain things that I did the first few times and I got bruised from. Now I can do it over and over and over again and I don't get bruises because the skin has thickened and all of the muscles and the components underneath have now strengthened to be able to withstand what it is I am doing on the pole with it. And this is the same thing when it comes to different levels that we are growing through in life. And when we have a high vibration, we know that there is a process and a journey that we are taking towards becoming what we ultimately visualize ourselves as. Okay. And it's very important to understand that what you seek is seeking you. So doing the energy work, the parts work around your inner child, your wounded child, all of these different things is very important, because if not, you're going to be seeking out your desires in life from a wounded aspect of yourself. And what you seek is seeking you. So if you're not clear, energetically clear, vibrationally clear about the source of your motivations and what it is you are striving for. Like, are you trying to, you know, strive for what everyone else has? Are you filling yourself up with plastic, toxic chemicals, for example, you know, doing all these different things to your body just so that you could play the part, just so that you could save face and show up? Are you draining out your savings account just so that you could look like or have something that someone has that you feel like you need or want? Or are you walking your sacred path, and are you aware of what you need now to get you to however you have trajected your life? So the whole thing is, what is your energetic trajectory and how is your vibration contributing to it now? So the cornerstone of any foundation is the most important thing. And the cornerstone is where you are right now in this present moment. It is always the foundation to what you are building. It is your present energy and in this present moment. Because when we are working with infinite fields of potential and quantum potential, which is the darkness of the womb, which is every breath that we take and infuse with pranic energy, everything that comes from this moment. And every time that we drop into a frequency of gratitude or a higher frequency where we are learning how to take care of our bodies and we are now making that a habit, it is in fortifying the timeline potential of something that is to come that is greater. So for example, I've been very into self-care. I created the 14-day mind, body, soul detox course back in 2012, because when I was in my 20s, I knew that somebody told me, I heard, and this affected me. This was like an anchor point in my life. And I heard that by the time you get to 30, you can't change your personality. And also, like, your body starts to deteriorate. So I had like this belief system that I only had until I was like 30 to make major life changes, which I now know now is definitely not true. You can always change yourself, given informed processes that you're willing to dedicate yourself to consistently. But what that did was it made me like a researcher of my well-being, and it made me a researcher of myself. And so I really worked to master my nutritional intake and my lifestyle, especially in the light of having terrible moon cycles, anxiety, depression, and just, really being into psychology. As a student of psychology, I graduated with my pre-med degree in 2011 with psychology of molecular and microbiology. And I started to study metaphysics and bioenergetics in 2009. So I realized that like I was committed to becoming someone that was always willing to evolve and someone that was always had the ability to develop new habits. Okay. So if you want to elevate your vibration, you have to be able to develop new habits, which really just takes choice. So number one, if you want to change anything, the number one thing to remember is that it is all based on a choice that you are making. You can't change anything if you are unsure about what it is you want to change or what it is you want to become. You have to be 100% sure. You can't just put like your pinky toe in the pool and expect to be wet and expect to be submerged and swimming. Like, you have to actually get out there and have that full on committed experience and not be hung up on what the outcome is, again, because everything is a growing process. Okay. Some experiences are experiences just to be had, not necessarily to help us to get to that ultimate goal. Like, it's not supposed to happen in that moment. Sometimes you're just supposed to be having that experience for the sake of integrating whatever it is was being offered to you in your body, so that when you get to the next chapter of your life, now you have a tool that you can use in your toolbox, right? So yes, all right. So how do we shift our vibration? Okay, I'm looking at my notes here. So you want to be aware of what your current vibration is versus what your ideal frequency is. And this is something that was really important as I started to get into higher, more powerful levels of existence, just happiness and joy inside of who I am. Not what people think about me, what I've become, like none of that. When I say higher levels and higher forms of existence, that is how much energy I have on a regular basis, how clear my skin is, how healthy I feel, how rested I am, how happy I am, how truly grateful and genuinely in love with life in the process I am. Okay. So being aware of where you are right now versus where you would ideally like to be, and seeing if there is anything in this moment that you can shift in order to shift you into that preferred vibration. So when I was broke, I used to like spend time in nature, and I would just sit outside and I would just feel so abundant and so grateful and so loved by nature and so held by nature. And there used to just be so much positive energy affirmed for me of abundance just by being in nature. And I recognized that the freedom of time that I had and the freedom to absorb that fresh air and that fresh energy made me wealthy. And by holding that vibrational trajectory of wealth in my life, everything in my life has started to change from that, and everything is starting to shift and show up on a different level. Okay. So, do you understand how being in this present moment and finding something to find a vibrational match of that in which you desire is so important? For example, let's say you want to be in a deeply passionately loving relationship with someone. Can you find a way to cultivate that for yourself through your self-care practices and through the vibration which you have? Or are you in a space where you're like longing? Okay. Because if you're in a vibration of longing, you're programming yourself with the experience of, I don't have that, versus I already have everything that I need. I am full, I am open, I am receptive, and I am here to exchange. So it's all about that present moment and that present energy. Okay. Let's see. So you want to be aware of your frequency now, and so that you can get to that ultimate vibration. And then the other thing that I have here is doing a cleanse and doing a reset. Okay. So we want to be cleansing our vibration of the things that are polluting us. You can go outside and breathe air and still be breathing in pollution. You can function, you can go for an intense run without passing out, without getting some kind of lung issue. And it's fresh air and it seems to be good, but there's still some kind of like pollution in the air. So it's very important that we are cleansing and that we are resetting our bodies so that we are resetting the vibrational influences in our life. And this is the powerful thing about the 14-day Mind, Body, Soul Reset course, is that you get to set your vibration consistently, okay? From a mental, physical, and spiritual standpoint. So cleansing your vibration would be the equivalent of taking this cup of water. Let's say that this was a dirty cup of water. Okay. Let's say this was like a cup of muddy water. All right. What would cleansingness look like? And this cup is your vibration. This is your vibration. This is your thoughts. This is how your thoughts are affecting your body. Like if you're always like, oh, I'm tired, I'm hurting, I'm this, I'm that, it's just muddy in there, right? This is you. Okay. Cleansing this vibration, dirty water, would look like you taking a giant pitcher of clear water and pouring it until it starts to overflow. Okay. And then as you pour in that self-care, as you pour in that self-awareness, as you pour in that consistent dedication to understanding what your goddess frequency needs, as you pour in techniques, as you pour in understanding and awareness about what your human design is, what your personality type is, what inspires you, motivates you. You are pouring in clean water into this cup, and all of the dirty water is overflowing and washing out until you have now poured in so much clear vibrational energy that is aligned with who you are ultimately becoming, that then you become a clear channel and a clear vessel that you can now see through and be an instrument for the divine. And that's the name of the game, baby. That's the name of the game, is being a finely tuned instrument. As a musician, the first instrument that I ever played was the piano. And we played the piano and I'd play and play and play. And then every now and then the piano tuner showed up. My mom would have the piano tuner come to the house and tune that instrument. We are the most sacred instruments that have ever existed. Okay, aside from what is happening in nature, but we are nature, we are Mama Gaia. Okay, and every instrument needs to be attuned, it needs to be fine tuned. And so that is why we want to cleanse our energy and be working with our frequency in these ways. Okay, so you can cleanse it, all right, and you can reset it by changing the whole cup. So there is cleansing what is inside of the cup, and then there is changing the actual cup. Now, when you change the cup, this is a little bit more of a unsettling life change. So changing the cup would be the equivalent of changing your environment. So to shift your frequency. So that's like when I moved out of Florida, I changed my environment completely. That's like going from one job where it's a toxic environment and you're miserable and every day you're being held in that environment, like this is your living, to going and now starting your own company that you saved up for, and now you have investors, and now you are in your own container. So now you have totally changed the environment that you work in, and everything is now up to the vibrational frequency that you are able to maintain of gratitude, hopefulness for your future, and just having that wealth consciousness. So you can either cleanse the container from the inside out, or you can shift the container completely to change your frequency. And so based upon what your life is looking for, sometimes you need to change the environment completely that you are living in. And this could look something as simple as, just getting rid of clutter in your house and donating it, so that now when you come home, you have open, empty space and you're not knocking into things that you haven't used for 3 years that's sitting somewhere in the back corner of your room collecting dust. Because all of that adds up to be psychic energy that pollutes your cup of creativity. So it makes it hard for you to function on a subconscious level. All right. So we can do that. And then when it comes to making choices, as I was saying before, okay, we can every step of the way, we get to make choices from old versions of ourselves or from new versions of ourselves. If you check out the previous video that I created, called Working Through Your Insecurities, the insecurities video, hang on one second. Make a note of that. If you watch, because I know I always say that I'm going to drop relevant videos below, guys, but I don't, because your girl be busy. Sorry, but I do have a note over here. I'm going to put the note in. I'm going to put the video in. But if you look at that video of working through your insecurities, we talk about choices. So we're going to talk about choices here. You can make choices from the old version of yourself or the new version of yourself, from a healed version of yourself or the wounded version of yourself. So once you've made every second, every moment of your life, you get an opportunity to choose who you are becoming. And again, if you haven't completely made the choice to commit, to step out and take that leap of faith into the new version of yourself, there's the old vibrational frequency of who you are ruling your life. We are always evolving. We are always shifting and changing our lives. Your personality is changing. That is your personality. Okay. That's your personal reality. And your personal reality is based on your biochemical feedback system that you're working in with yourself, the way that you're thinking about things, the way that you're feeding yourself. You can become a totally different person just by making a choice at every moment. Am I going to eat this junk food, or am I going to eat something healthy? Am I going to spend time with these people, or am I going to say no to that? And then work with that process and digest that choice. Instead of running away from the challenging choice, you face it head on, you make the decision, and you change your life. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. It's been a fun topic. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe this video if you are resonating with this message. I love you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. One love.